The most scariest experience you ever have in life is spiritual things. Today, we're just gonna listen to some few topics and some few stories about people went through witchcraft and what they did and how to overcome it. So today, let's listen to the wonderful stories.
Just think about it. It's around 1 in the morning. You just came from having fun, hanging out, clubbing with your friends, only for you to have to face yourself. Scary story time. Hey y'all, sorry it's been so long. My life has literally been flipped upside down, but I love and appreciate you guys for the patience. So there's this girl, let's call her Marissa. She got off of work around like 5 p.m. and her best friend hits her up like, hey girl, let's go outside. It's Friday, let's go out. She's like, bet, we're outside. So they go out, they have fun, they have a great time. As they're leaving, she meets this guy, and he's charming, he's handsome, he's perfect. Exchange numbers, and before she leaves, he gives her a kiss on the cheek. She's blushing and has butterflies going home. So her friend drops her off at home, she's drunk. She goes inside, and she starts to notice that the cheek where he kissed her seems a little itchy. And so she's thinking, oh my God, these men in their beards, blah, 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 whatever. So she decides she's gonna get in the shower before she goes to bed. And so she gets her pajamas, goes to the bathroom, only to notice that there is a rash on her cheek. This sobers her up really quick because the area that she was in, that she lived, because this was in her home country, they are very deep and very heavily into voodoo. And so now she's like, oh no, did I just get got? And so she just decides, you know what, maybe I'm just drunk and overthinking it. Let me get in the shower, put some cream on it, and it'll be better in the morning. And she does just that. She gets in the shower, she takes her shower, she puts some cream on it, and she goes to bed. But little does she know, she ain't going to sleep no time soon.
What?
So she's in bed, and as she's about to fall asleep, she hears her name being called. And so that wakes her up, and she's like, oh, am I crazy? Did I just hear my name being called? She's like, oh, I'm probably just drunk. And she tries to go back to sleep again. Only this time, her name is being called, but it was her full name. The first time was just her first name. This time, it's her full government. And at this point, she shook. She sat up, and she waited to see if she was going to hear it again. And she heard it again, only this time, it screamed. And she realized that it was coming from out of her window. And so she walks to her window, only to see herself standing outside, calling her name.
What? Standing outside calling a name. How's that? How is that possible, man? Is that a lie, man? I don't know.
Do you believe in hexes or curses? Well, I'm going to tell you what made
Yeah, I do believe in that because I am black.
me a believer. When I was in my early 20s, I got on a dating website called Adult Friend Finder, and that was where I met Chad. We started hanging out, and within no time, me and him had hit it off and we were dating. But within a few days of dating Chad, I started to notice that my health was rapidly declining. It all started with a sore throat, runny nose, coughing, stomach ache, stomach cramps, bleeding, the shits, the sweats, and within a month or so, my damn hair was falling out. I started talking to him in early June, and by the end of August, big patches of hair was falling out in the bathtub. It got so bad that I couldn't even enjoy my time around Chad because when he was around, my sickness got worse. And I thought for a minute maybe he was poisoning me, but I was the one preparing the food. He was never alone with any of my food and drink, so I knew he wasn't poisoning me. So by the third month of dating, I'm now going to doctors and specialists, and no one can figure out what's wrong with me. They've given me pregnancy tests, hormone tests, done blood tests, everything comes back negative. It gets to the point that I can barely get off the couch, my skin is now gray, my eyes are bloodshot, and my teeth are so soft I can wiggle them. Well, I had two neighbors that were originally from Haiti and had moved here a few years back, and they lived 2 houses down, and they came over one day to check on me, and when they walked in, they said, oh my God, you look bad. So Marcus's wife, Shayla, starts waving her hands around me, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, but he told me that it was a prayer and she was trying to heal me. And she stands up, and she looks at him and goes, and then he says, look, you need to come with us to Granny's house now. They had to peel me off the couch and walk me to the car just so I could move because I could not get up on my own. I was so weak. I go with Marcus and Shayla to Marcus's Granny's house, which was in the deep woods of South Carolina. As soon as I got out the car, Marcus's Granny was standing there and she had this long cigarette in her hand and she said, whose husband you been sleeping with? I said, no way, I don't mess with married men. She said, well, I don't know about all that. but that man you've been seeing, he's married. She said, I can smell that man's guilt all over you, and it's strong. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know he was married. She said, well, sorry doesn't change the fact that he's spiritually connected to someone else, and she wants both of you to suffer. She said, you trying to get pregnant? I said, no, ma'am. She said, well, if you don't stop sleeping with that man, you're going to be pregnant in the next 2 weeks, and I see a very tragic ending for you and that child. She said, you need to understand the more you're with him, the worse off you're going to get, because this woman isn't going to let up, and this curse or hex is going to get a lot worse, possibly even dangerous.
Oh, wait a minute. Slow down, man.
I said, was there any way we can stop whatever they're doing to me? She said, yeah, I can help you, but you're going to have to listen and do exactly what I say. I said, thank you. I'll do whatever you say. I just want to feel better. Hell, I was about to puke right there in her yard. So we go in her house, and she tells me to take off my shoes and socks and has me put this creamy stuff on my hands and feet. She had me sit down while they prayed over me, and they lit this stuff, and then she gave me a cup of liquid to drink, and I chugged it, and I swear in a matter of minutes, I felt better. Oh, and she took a mason jar and said she was going to catch whatever this thing was that woman had put on me, and she would keep it in that jar. I said, thank God, because I don't want it. She got that close to my face and said, do you want to live? Do you care about your life? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, when you get home, you call that man and you tell him you don't never want to see him again, because if you don't stop seeing him, you're going to be dead in 6 months. She said, you got that? I said, yes, ma'am. As soon as I get home, I am dumping him, I promise. Granny sent me home with 2 cloth bags, one to keep on me at all times and one to put in my house. I'll never forget how hungry I was when I left. I had not had an appetite like that in months, and I was so glad to be able to eat again. On the way home, Marcus said, whoever did this to you must not know what they're messing with, because we all know you don't put dark thoughts or prayers on innocent people, because it always comes back on you and your family. So Marcus and Shayla bring me back home, and I'm already feeling better at that point. I get on the phone, I call Chad, I say, look here, I know you're married. I know you've been lying to me. I don't care. I'm not mad. Just you and your wife. Leave me alone. Chad said, whoa, how did you know about my wife? I said, don't matter. Just do not contact me ever again. And I hung up. The next day, I get a knock at my front door. And when I open up the storm door, there's Chad. And I swear to God, as soon as I saw his face, my stomach started cramping and I damn near shit my pants. And I knew right then, just like Granny said, the more I'm around him, the sicker I'm going to get. So I slammed the door in his face. And what's crazy, within 6 months, him and his wife had lost everything. Their house, their nice cars, their business, all of it. Now, I know a lot of people call Granny crazy and think she makes stuff up, but I believe her. And I think she saved my life that day, because I know how I was feeling when I got there and how I felt when I left. Before this happened, you could not make me believe in hexes, curses, or karma. But when she healed my body like she did, I'm a full believer, honey.
I believe you, honey. I really do. Gotta slow down to the caffeine.
This is a story time of how I found out that someone has been working witchcraft over my life, and I found out who it was a couple weeks ago. Let me start off by saying that witchcraft does run in both my bloodlines of the family. I am Jamaican. I just never believed in it, and I always thought that if I don't believe in something, that it can't reach me. But boy, was I wrong. So I'm gonna start by 2 years ago, which was everything went downhill for my life. Prior to this, my business was up, business was booming, bought my car, everything. I was prospering. I moved into a new place, and a couple months into that, I actually had a rapture dream. And the dream was God was calling me. So I took that very serious. Couple months after that, me and this person wasn't talking at this time, but a couple months after that, I got into a car accident. The day of my accident, I just felt uneasy and I felt like something was gonna happen. I just didn't know what. 5 minutes later, after I left my house, I got into a car accident that left me with back injury, nerve damage in my arm and my knee. Again, I wasn't speaking to that person at the time, but I had to speak to them in order to sort out my car situation. So we rekindled whatever, we're cool, whatever. Couple months after that, I had a sleep paralysis in my dream. I was sleeping on my stomach this time, and I just felt a dark figure overshadowing over me, and I just couldn't move. But I was awake mentally or whatever. I didn't read the Bible as much growing up or whatever, but for some reason I recited this one Bible verse in my head, and that's how I woke up out of that. It was the walking through the valley of death, shadow valley of death, whatever. See, I don't even know it right now by heart, but I knew it in my sleep to wake up. Then I ended up having to move, and I moved into a new place. This person didn't know where I moved, but they ended up getting my address because they wanted to deliver something to me or ship something to me or whatever. Ever since then, things started to take a turn. Let me say this, I didn't pick up on any of these things until a couple weeks ago when I asked God to reveal these things to me. I started seeing flies in my house, black flies, like regular flies. And it was like I was killing 6 to 10 flies a day. There was no open spaces in my house for me to see where the flies were coming from. Like I was spending day and night trying to figure out where they're coming from. Until I found out that's one of the signs that someone is working witchcraft over you. And it was just so ironic when they found out my address that all these things are happening. The next thing is I've been having snake dreams. And when I mean snake dreams, I'm talking thousands of snakes in my dream. Until I found out that's another sign of somebody working witchcraft over you. Take your dream serious. This person had delivered something to my house. and I had it in my house because it was furniture. I ended up losing my place and had to find somewhere else. For the past 2 years, my mental health has been so bad. I've been stagnant. I've been in a repetitive cycle in my life, and I just could not figure out what it was. I had to stop running my hair business because of this. I had finance issues. I've lost my job, like a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like every time I don't speak to this person, this is what happened. Until a couple weeks ago, I deleted all my social media so the person no longer has access to know what I'm doing or me personally.
Why all the time they tell a story and they cut it? Like, I don't understand, man. Like, you are testifying, man.
Let me tell you how witchcraft almost ruined my life. And a lot of y'all may not have an understanding, but that's okay. We don't judge over here. We all come over here to hear and possibly relate, because there's a lot of people who go through witchcraft but don't have nobody to talk to without being called crazy. But you're not crazy. Now, when I was going through a lot of witchcraft, spell work or whatever, I did not have an understanding on what it was. I just thought God didn't love me, he hated me, and my life was over, okay? But when I did figure out what was going on with me, it came to me in a dream. But let me learn you something. I was being affected in every area of my life. When I tell you, I could not sleep. I could not eat. I had bags under my eyes. Baby, I went from 225 to 150, and I got pictures to prove it. I was not eating at all, friend, but when I did, I would throw it up. My stomach was hurting so bad, like I felt like something was just caving in. I went to the doctor so many times, and they always would tell me, you're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. It was so bad to the point where they almost sent me to a mental hospital, right?
Damn.
Because they felt like I was going crazy, or I just wanted something to be wrong with me. They thought I was abusing drugs because I was always going in and getting prescriptions, but I wasn't taking the prescriptions. They would just prescribe it, but they felt like I would make up things that was going on with me to get the prescription. So they thought I was on drugs. Baby, people thought I was weird. I started losing friends. I stopped hanging around family. Baby, relationship was just horrible. Every relationship I came across, it failed. When I say I was losing money, I lost my car. I lost my job. I lost everything around me. Baby, it was so bad. You wouldn't even believe it. Like I wasn't even thinking. Nothing was going through my mind. Like straight crickets. It was silence for him. I would sit in the living room and I would just look like my son would be calling my name and I wouldn't hear him until I randomly snap out of it. And that's when I knew I really needed a God, when I couldn't engage with my child anymore. That's when it became serious to me. I just started crying. I couldn't feel nothing. I couldn't connect to nothing. I felt hopeless. I felt empty. Baby, when I say I had no feelings, no emotions, no nothing, it was horrible. But that's when I didn't have no connection with God. I didn't have no bond, no relationship, no nothing. I didn't take it serious. I was out there smoking, drinking, partying, clubbing, doing whatever I wanted to do. I never prayed. I never opened up my Bible. I was just out there freely. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I didn't even really put no thought or even belief in witchcraft until I was made into a believer. Fast forward. Now I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm thriving. I got my mind together. I understand who God is. I know my word. I know prayer. You feel me? And it took years, baby. I've been in the game for 10 years on my journey, and I learned a whole lot. So that's why when I get up on here and I tell y'all what to do and not to do, friend, I mean it, because I know I've been through it. I've seen it. I've done it. Don't be out here just roaming freely. Get you some protection. All right? Baby, when I started to call out for God and I started breaking down and praying and going to church, God came in quick and delivered me from all evil. When I say all hell broke loose over my enemies, I started to see exactly who was doing it on me, because the chains were breaking and God was bringing forth my enemies. He was exposing the hands of my enemies, baby. Why? Because I started to believe in him and call out and put my trust and faith in him. And ever since that day he delivered me, I have not missed the beat of giving him his praise and glory, because he deserved it. Because he couldn't let me die. He could have let me drown. He could have let me go. But he seen me. He heard my cry and delivered me, friend. That's why when I say never fight fire with fire, go to God about it, I mean that, friend. Do it. Call out for him. Don't listen to no people on this app or around you about fighting fire with fire. They're going to put you under fire. Eternal fire. Damnation. Don't do it. I love you.
They're very powerful. It's very powerful. Don't fight fire with fire, fight it with God. And that's how you win the battle. So every story that we listen to is very inspiring. Whatever you going through or whatever you facing in your life, just make sure that you can overcome it with the blood of Jesus. I'll see you in the next video.